This is what's behind the dashboard of a boat that someone paid $45,000 for last month. Corroded wire terminals crammed against a fuel line, vinyl butt connectors already cracking at the seams, and a handful of wire nuts that should never be anywhere near a marine electrical system. And the dealer who sold it knew exactly what was back here. Before I show you why this is a fire waiting to happen, you need to know what good wiring actually looks like, because the difference is night and day. When a manufacturer does it right, you open the console door and see Ancor tinned marine wire routed through PVC chases with adhesive-lined heat shrink connectors at every junction. The wire has a slight silver sheen to it because every individual copper strand is coated in tin before the insulation goes on. That tin coating is what stops saltwater corrosion from wicking up inside the wire jacket. Grady White does this, so does Everglades, so does Boston Whaler. You open the console on those boats and it looks like someone actually cared whether the thing catches fire. But what you're looking at in a typical $40,000 to $50,000 bay boat is the opposite. Non-tinned bare copper wire with SAE automotive insulation, the same stuff you'd run to a trailer light. And it gets worse than just the wire itself. An SAE 12-gauge wire actually contains 10 to 15% less copper than a proper 12 AWG marine wire, because the stranding is coarser and the spec is looser. The connections are cheap vinyl crimp terminals that provide zero moisture seal. And instead of organized wire chases, everything is bundled together with zip ties and shoved behind the dash panel. A marine surveyor named David Pascoe, who inspected over 5,000 boats, described catching 2 vessels about to go up in flames in a single month. One actually caught fire during the survey itself. This isn't theoretical. So let me walk you through the 4 specific things manufacturers are doing behind your console to save money, and I'll tell you exactly how each one costs them. First, the wire itself. Ancor 12-gauge tinned marine wire runs about $40 per 100 feet. The automotive equivalent runs $8 to $15. A typical center console uses 1,000 to 1,500 feet of various gauge wire, so the manufacturer saves $300 to $500 per boat by going with the cheap stuff. That sounds like a lot until you remember the boat costs $45,000. They're saving about 1% of the sticker price. But that non-tinned copper starts corroding at every exposed terminal within the first year in salt water. I've personally seen boats where you cut back 2 to 3 feet of green oxidized wire before you find clean copper. That corrosion increases resistance, resistance generates heat, and heat degrades the insulation further. It's a feedback loop that ends one way. Second, the connectors. A proper marine adhesive-lined heat shrink butt connector from Ancor costs about 35 cents. A vinyl auto parts store connector costs a nickel. On a boat with 150 plus connections, the total savings is maybe $35 to $50. That's it, $50. But those vinyl connectors crack when you overcrimp them, they have no moisture barrier, and they get brittle with age and sun exposure. Every single one of them is a potential failure point sitting in a saltwater environment. Third, wire nuts. The ABYC E11 standard explicitly banned them. Section 11.16.3.6 word for word says twist-on connectors shall not be used on boats. Wire nuts are designed for solid copper house wiring. They cut the individual strands in marine wire, they cannot hold grip under vibration, and there is no way to seal them against moisture. But marine surveyors report finding them constantly on production boats because some wiring tech grabbed what was closest on the bench. And here's what bothers me about this one. A wire nut costs about 3 cents. A proper ring terminal with a heat shrink barrel costs maybe 40 cents. We are talking pennies. Fourth, the ground wiring. On a properly wired boat, every instrument and accessory has its own negative return wire running back to a tinned copper bus bar, something like a Blue Sea 2304 minibus that costs $16 to $20. On a budget production boat, the gauges and instruments are daisy-chained together, ground wire jumping from one gauge to the next in a series. That's why your fuel gauge reads wrong and your depth finder flickers. But it's also why a single corroded connection in that chain can force current through paths it was never meant to take and generate heat in places you'll never see until smoke comes through the dash. Now connect all of that to what happens when something goes wrong. Boat US Marine Insurance analyzed 5 years of fire claims and found that 55% of all boat fires were caused by wiring and electrical failures. The number one cause wasn't engine failures or fuel leaks on their own, it was wiring. And the Coast Guard's own data says that for every fire incident in their database, 12 to 21 fires actually happened but were never reported. The real numbers are dramatically worse than anything in an official report. And the center console is the worst possible place for bad wiring because of what else lives in that space. On a lot of bay boats in this price range, the fuel tank sits directly beneath the console floor. The cranking battery is mounted inside the console. Fuel lines and fuel water separators share that same enclosed fiberglass box. Gasoline vapor is heavier than air, so it pools in exactly these low, unventilated spaces. A chafed wire rubbing bare copper against a fiberglass edge, an arcing fuse holder with a corroded contact, a vinyl connector that's lost its grip and started sparking. Any of those can be the ignition source, and I want you to understand how fast this goes. A corroded terminal can reach 400 degrees before it melts through the wire insulation. When it does, the PVC jacket doesn't just melt, it drips. It drips burning plastic onto whatever is below it, and in a center console, that's often a fuel line or a battery case. By the time you smell that sharp electrical burning from the helm, the inside of your console is already full of smoke. You don't get a warning light for this, and your marine insurance company knows it. Practical Sailor documented cases where fire claims were denied because the insurer found non-compliant wiring, whether factory installed or not. You could be paying premiums on a boat that's functionally uninsured. So before your next trip, open your console door and check 3 things. 1. Look at the wire terminations where connections meet terminals. If you see green or black discoloration on the copper, that's corrosion eating into your wiring, and it needs attention now, not next season. 2. Look for wire nuts anywhere in the system. If you find even one, replace it with a proper marine heat shrink connector. You can buy a bag of Ancor adhesive-lined connectors and a ratcheting crimper for under $100. And that $100 might be the best money you ever spend on your boat. 3. With your electronics powered on, carefully feel the fuse holders and bus bar connections. If anything is warm to the touch, you have a high-resistance connection that's generating heat, and that is exactly how electrical fires start on the water.